This is Fulcrum, and we are at the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 11, called Metamorphosis. No idea what that's going to mean. Does it have to do with just the episode itself, or what's going to happen with the Bad Batch? We've had so much happen this season already, and now we're kind of going to be looking towards what's going to happen with the Bad Batch next. The last couple episodes, they definitely had a lot of like interpersonal relationship growth and kind of restructuring of the Bad Batch. So let's dive in. Oh, starting off mysterious. All right. I can't tell what kind of ship this is. I'm already digging the vibe of this episode. It's very aliens. I do love those movies. Oh, we're back at Mount Tantus. Nice. Okay. Back to the cloning story arc. I thought we would get here at some point. This doctor already sounds evil. It's very much an evil voice. Could the metamorphosis be about cloning? No. We've just had several things confirmed in the last few seconds. So first off, this is Mount Tantus. We knew that from the very end of the first season, but it never was actually said, I believe, so confirmation there. Second thing, this is about Palpatine, this is about cloning, and this is the kind of segue into both The Mandalorian with Grogu and the sequels. So it's all tied together.
How hard could scavenging cargo be?
Famous last words. Omega.
What kind of ship is this? Don't know.
I like confirmation that if I don't recognize a ship, and then the characters in the show also don't recognize it, I feel feel validated that I didn't recognize what kind of ship it is. Thank you, Star Wars. There's going to be one of those things where the monster isn't a monster, but it's actually friendly and just trying to protect itself, or is it actually just a deadly thing that they created?
Where is everyone?
What are you leaning towards? Which one do you think? This is so aliens. Come on. Okay, it needs energy and power to survive. Well, now it's loose. It's gonna go towards the village because it needs the electricity.
Rumors of other Kaminoan experiments, but Nala Say kept that data away from me. I think whatever they were doing was happening off-world.
Mount Tantus. Yep, just needs the electricity. That's what I thought. From Clone Wars. Okay. Well, this is a fun little throwback. This is a creature that Palpatine wanted to do experiments on when they captured it. And it looks like they are. That's crazy. Oh, Dave Filoni. This didn't work last time. Oh. Okay. They came prepared. Oh, that's not good. It's like early TIE fighters. Interesting. Oh man, they're taking the entire village because they were witnesses? Oh, that's rough. Curse you, Empire!
The Zilla Beast.
Yes, and
Zilla Beast. Thank you.
the directive came straight from the Supreme Chancellor. They merely wanted to control it.
Now they know. Yes. Push the plot forward.
Go to Rex. See what they can find out.
This is what I was hoping for. I love this. Our other guest? Okay. Prime Minister.
There is a particular clone you must locate. A young girl
There we go.
is the key to controlling Nalase.
It's all tying together. This episode changes everything in the ways I've been hoping for a season and a half. Wow, okay. This episode changes everything. Everything that I was hoping would progress and the way it's progressing is all happening in this one episode. Pretty much did all of that. First off, we get the Zilla Beast, and if you don't know, it's a story arc from the Clone Wars. Basically, there's this kind of like ancient beast that gets awoken and on this world, and of course it gets taken to Coruscant eventually once they figure out how to capture it, and then it gets loose and it goes full King Kong on the place, and basically at the end of it, Palpatine basically wants to do experiments on it, capture it, do experiments on it because its armor exterior can resist a lot of blasters, a lot of those energy weapons. So he wanted to do experiments with it, and that's what we see here. We see that this is like years apart. The fact that they're bringing this back is super fun and exciting, and it's interesting even if you don't know that story arc. But that's essentially what's happening is that Palpatine is continuing his cloning experiments for weapons, and then of course eventually going to be for his sustainability of life. But what we see on Tantus right now is it's hard to say if the cloning is going to dive. The cloning arc is going to dive into cloning people or cloning Force sensitives at the moment. But we've got so many setups here that now that the Bad Batch knows about the cloning, knows that there's something extra happening. Now we've got, of course, a message out to Rex and Echo, and bringing all of these people back together is super exciting. And of course, Omega being the key to a lot of this. Of course, like I knew for the last season and a half that Omega needed to be more important in somehow, or at least the Empire wanted Omega for some reason, and now we have that because Omega is going to be the incentive that Nalase needs in order to actually work. Because if they get Omega and then they threaten Omega's existence, that's what's going to convince Nalase to actually work for them. Because at the moment they're stuck; their experiments aren't really going anywhere, and that's all super exciting because we bring the cloning back in. We got the Bad Batch now with a bigger mission than just helping people, but there's something nefarious and they figured out the plan. So now we've got this whole last part of the season. I guess we've got like 5 episodes left to really explore this story arc. And then of course we've got some things like the Zilla Beast and other storylines, and of course the references to things like Aliens and those types of movies. Those little Easter eggs in there were super fun. I absolutely love this episode because it gave us so much. Like there was so much in this episode. We've got a new villain, of course, the Doctor, who speaks a bit like Thrawn, like not quite, but has that kind of tone. So we know that it's a villain. And now the Bad Batch are going to be chased, and then we've got this cloning plot line pushing forward. So honestly, I've been waiting a season and a half for this to actually kick in, and it's taken this long, but now that it's here, I'm stoked, and I'm very much looking forward to the second half of this season. I feel like they've been kind of feels like they've been waiting a little bit to actually dive into this story, but I think now that it's actually been revealed, I think we're gonna go deep. I think it's gonna hit us hard. A lot's gonna happen. And basically what D. Bradley Baker said is that we're not prepared. We're not prepared for what's about to happen. But there was so much to love about this episode. I hope you loved it too. If you ever want to, go back and look at the Zilla Beast stories at Clone Wars, I think it's like 2 episodes or something like that. But it's interesting. You don't have to, but it does tie into what we have in this episode. But seeing so far with this season, seeing what happens with the clones, and now we're pushing that cloning aspect, and that the Empire is working on that. This season, I think, is so far better than the first season, in my opinion. And we'll see how it plays out for the next few episodes. But again, thank you for joining me. Be sure to hit that subscribe because it helps, and it's much appreciated. But we'll see you next week for both The Mandalorian and The Bad Batch, now that we have them. And of course, I've got my Mando premiere reaction as well. You can look that up. But again, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Fulcrum out.